Thank you, everybody, for attending. So the reason why we're here today is to introduce Extenua's new REST API technology that we call in short SOS, which stands for simply Secure Object Storage. We just wanted to keep the name simple. We wanted the name to drive really the concept home. So what is SOS, or Secure Object Storage, in just one sentence? Well, it's a pretty powerful REST API that provides a unified as well as extremely secure layer to access and use and manage your cloud object storage, whether it be Amazon S3, Google Cloud Object Storage, or Microsoft Azure Blob Storage. And it provides not just a unified API or application programming interface to access and manage and secure all of that storage, but it comes with a number of interesting features that you can't find altogether in any other single API. First and foremost, the utmost level of security. We have a patent-pending, blockchain-inspired use of a chunked version of AES GCM, which is not just encryption, it's authenticated encryption. We provide this service in the form of a REST API, which also means you have absolute mobility because you can integrate a REST API into literally anything, legacy applications, new applications for any operating system, even for mobile operating systems, even into ASIC or lower level sensors, for example. There is basically nothing in today's world that cannot call a function through a REST API. So that's the reason why we're providing it in this form. It's very developer-centric. The paradigm is extremely consistent, very elegant, well-documented, with OpenAPI version 3.0 Swagger files. So it really is extremely developer-friendly. Like I said, it provides also a guarantee of file integrity because on top of just encryption, we use AES in GCM mode, which provides for authenticated encryption. So there is a guarantee that that encrypted content is absolutely the encrypted content that was originally uploaded and was not touched or tampered with by anyone or anything for any reason. And all of this together clearly achieves the ultimate goal of providing a very, very high level of flexibility because it allows you to blend your existing S3 buckets or Azure Blob storages or Google Cloud Platform object storages and even remote SFTP servers into virtual buckets and apply every function and every feature that I just mentioned to that virtual bucket. So in a nutshell, with SOS, you can aggregate as many cloud storages as you wish and see them as a single SOS bucket. You can mirror the content of that virtual bucket into all of your backend cloud storages for high availability and disaster recovery, if that's what you're after. And or you can scatter the chunks and the slices of your files across multiple backend cloud storages for additional security, speed, and efficiency. All of that without ever compromising on security, using a blockchain-inspired, chunked, multi-phase AES GCM algorithm. And I would definitely jump into a short demo now. I will keep it short, but hopefully it will be extensive enough to show all the main features so that you can appreciate also how easy it is to use. For the purposes of this demo, I will use Insomnia, Insomnia is just a REST client. You can use Postman. You can use the Smart Bear. You can use any REST development tool that you please. I just happen to have Insomnia at hand, so I will use Insomnia in this moment for the demo. So this API is divided in two subsets. One subset is for administrative functions. Administrative functions allow you to create those virtual buckets, manage them, create your API keys that then later you will use to do the actual data uploading, downloading, and management. So typically you have API to log in, provide traditional JWT. You can change your own password using an API if you so wish. You can get detailed accounting counters, global for the entire customer profile, as well as per each virtual bucket. So you always know how many GET requests, non-GET requests, how many encrypted chunks or decrypted chunks, how much ingress and how much egress you had in terms of gigabytes. So you know at any moment in time what you're looking at, what you are consuming, what you're using, what you're doing. And you have APIs also to get that same information for a single bucket. You have an API to get all of your virtual bucket. And here we can start to see the first interesting thing. This bucket that we call test bucket is actually composed of two backend web stores. We call them with the nickname of web stores. And each one of these web stores is actually an S3 bucket. So we have this Extenua BKT1 and Extenua BKT2. In this case, they are both in the US West 2 availability zone in the AWS cloud. But this could be any combination of any cloud storage between Amazon, Microsoft, Google, and even your own SFTP servers. There's an API to create your own virtual bucket, of course. There are API to modify, delete your bucket. And once you have created at least one bucket, in order to use that SOS bucket, you will have to create an API key for that particular bucket. And the API key can encompass more than one bucket and can even have a whitelist. So in the API key itself, you can define that you want, with this API key, you want to be able to access and use a certain virtual bucket only if the REST API calls come from certain IP or IP addresses or networks. This is for additional security. So once you have that API key, which is associated to the bucket that you have created, you can then go and use the actual storage API that we call data pipe. And you can do the typical functions, the same things that you do with all cloud storage. Imagine this was an S3 bucket. You would list a directory. Sorry, this is the proper security credential. Okay. You can list a directory. You can upload a file. Let's see. Let's upload this one. See, this is just a test for the webinar. Take care. Okay, let's go and upload the file. The file was accepted for upload with this ID. I can list the directory again, and now I actually find the file that I just uploaded. I can re-download the file, and there it is, downloaded and displayed as expected, and go get the information on the file that I just uploaded. And this information also gives you the possibility to set your own metadata with no limitation on the size of the metadata. So you can put as metadata to this particular file literally anything you want, any key value structured type of metadata. But interestingly enough, let's go and see how these files that I just uploaded, these files that you can see in this directory list, how they are actually stored in our Extenua BKT1 and Extenua BKT2 buckets in S3. So if I enter, this is the test bucket, but inside of test bucket, you see that there is no such file as test, test1, test2. These files are not here. You will find a bunch of directories with completely random names that lead to a bunch of files, and none of these files, even in terms of size, is identical to any of the files that you see here, because each one of these files only represents a small portion of each one of the files that you have actually uploaded. So even in the event that AWS S3 is broken into again, it wouldn't be the first time. I think it would be the 100th time just in the past 12 months. Your data is still absolutely safe, absolutely secure, and scattered. Each file in this case is scattered among all the existing backend storages. So this file that I just uploaded, this test10.txt, part of it will be here in Extenua BKT1. It will be one of these. I have no clue which one. And part of the same file will be in Extenua BKT2, which you see has a different number and names of subdirectories and different number and names and size of files, all of which with no information that could lead an attacker to identify in any way which original file this particular chunk belongs to. And each chunk is encrypted with a unique encryption key that Amazon, in this case, never gets, because that key is generated in real time by the platform when it's needed, and then it's deleted in real time from the server's RAM immediately after use, and it will be regenerated the next time it's needed, but it will never be kept in memory. It will never be saved to any database. It will never be given to the cloud backend owner. And I think this pretty much covers it, because one of the defining features of this API is its incredible simplicity in terms of how you use it. Because the real power, let's say all the heavy lifting, we've done it by coding it at server level on the server side, so that we could make it incredibly easy to use and accessible for the API user. Integrating this API into your software project, whatever they are, traditional applications, mobile apps, or even web applications, it's going to be a breeze. So I think at this point, if there are questions, I would be more than happy to answer them. Or alternatively, if there are no questions, I would just give the word back to Jason.
Sounds good. So to sort of piggyback off of what Fed just stated, if you have any questions, there's a button here, Q&A, where you can add your questions to the Q&A and we can address them. So we'll stay on one more minute or so.
Yep.
You know, to sort of echo some of the points you stated, Fed, I have a couple of questions, or just one in particular. So basically, what we're looking at here is a way to sort of bolster and provide a level of security that you're not going to be able to get through AWS or through other providers.
Absolutely.
And again, if there's a unique encryption key, it can be deleted in real time. Never is going to be given to the cloud owner.
Think about what happened now, just now with this COVID-19. Everybody, every one of us is working from home and has been working from home for almost 2 months now. And look at the number of attacks that AWS, Amazon, Microsoft, and Google have received specifically on their object storage. It's skyrocketed. It's multiplied by 10 in the past 2 months. I mean, reports of data stolen from Amazon buckets or Azure or Google Cloud storage. They appear in the news on a daily basis. People need a secure way to co-work remotely, knowing that the data they share, that the data they store is actually safe, even against the weaknesses of these cloud infrastructures that are designed for utility rather than for security. We provide the security layer above all those cloud platforms, across those cloud platforms, in an independent and unified way. So you don't even have to learn 3 API sets now. You only have to learn this one to use all of your cloud storage backend in a more secure way. In my opinion, this is a no nonsense. I mean, it's just, I think it's definitely worth to go ahead, go to www.extenua.com and sign up for an account, also because it's absolutely free.
That's a really good point. And then last but not least, could you share a little bit about what your projections are as far as the sort of rise in these cybersecurity threats, especially with everyone working remotely? So we already know it's on the up and up now, but what are your projections, let's just say, 3, 6, 9 months down the road? Obviously, it's going to get worse, but
it is going to get worse. What many people fail to realize right now, but they will realize in the next few months, is that this pandemic emergency has changed the entire world in the long run. Even when we have a vaccine, even when the virus is gone, the world has learned that a lot of stuff that previously was not done remotely can be done remotely more efficiently than before. Twitter CEO just announced that he will let every single Twitter employer work from home forever. Right? This is the way the world is going. This is the direction the world has taken. The COVID-19 just happened to speed up, but this already was the direction. And you know that with every change that occurs in this kind of landscape, hacker attacks, they follow, they just follow that same direction. It is not random that the number of data-related hacker attacks in the past 2 months has skyrocketed. I mean, it's multiplied by 10. When's the last time you've seen a multiplication tenfold in just 2 months?
That's right.
You've never seen it before. So that is the new direction of the world.
Thanks for viewing. This concludes the webinar for how to bolster your shared data storage security in the midst of COVID-19. If you'd like to learn more about the product, please contact us at info@extenua.com.